Welcome, everybody, to In the Buff. Today we've got me, Chris, Scott, John, Cody, and Kyle.
Here we are. Everybody's hot. Everybody's hot and upset because John's game sucks huge donkey cock.
My game is not as good as it could be.
And, that's just something we're all going to have to live with. Until we move right on to the comments.
Ooh.
We left off with Destroyer MCW 626 from 6 days ago on the Waka Celestial Weapon Guide World Champion video. He says, I just played another league after getting Aurochs reel and another to have the sigil appear cause ain't no way I was going to reset data when I worked too hard grind, but thanks. And then he commented again on the Lulu Celestial Weapon Onion Knight video. Now I'm finally down to just this. Oh god, help me!
Is that the lightning?
Yep.
That's a game ender. I fuck that. I'm not doing it.
I mean, it's really not that bad.
See, Scott,
No,
if you think it's a difficult challenge, then you just need to watch our guide because we give you a very simple and easy method of completing it.
Here's the thing. It's less about the difficulty of the challenge and more about how little confidence I have in myself. I know that for how long does it take to get 200?
Probably 20 minutes.
So for 20 uninterrupted minutes, I have to rely on me to hit the button and not fuck it up. So if I'm at 19 minutes and I fuck it up...
Scott, haven't you 100%ed through the fire and flames on Guitar Hero?
That's like 6 minutes, Kyle.
That's a shit ton more buttons to hit, though.
Yeah.
It's like 6 minutes, and if I mess up on the end, it's just, I just lost 6 minutes. Or I could lose 19 minutes over and over and over and over again. And I know I will.
You're not going to, though.
I know I will, though.
You're not going to, though.
Because I'm a fuck-up.
He's self-sabotage.
No. You're the best gamer among us.
I heartily disagree
He's
with
never
that.
played that.
Well, you're allowed to be wrong.
Oh, you disagree, Scott? Then who is the best gamer among us?
Chris, obviously.
No, come on.
That's wrong. That's wrong. Come on.
I know this is a comedy
Well,
podcast, but seriously.
If we divvy it up, I'd say, John, you're not on top. Cody, you're probably better at a larger swath of games than I am. I'm certainly better at everyone here than Rocket League.
That's true.
By
I agree with that.
big margin.
I'm pretty sure I beat you.
I think you're ranked higher than him right now.
Have been for
He
a
is.
while.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't think I'm all that good at video games.
Well, Monty
Great.
commented on episode 36, I believe. I rated this episode a 0.5 out of 5 stars.
Ouch.
Oh my
How
God.
cruel. Damn.
Crying, laughing emoji.
That is harsh for her
it
to
was
say.
the review episode.
Yeah, that is harsh to say, but it's also,
Par for the course.
it wasn't our best episode. I'll say that. I'll leave it at that.
Could you have left a bad review for us, Monty?
I think that was it.
She's not in the call, John. We're just reading a comment from 4 days ago.
Oh.
Just like JP's comment on Waka Weapon World Champion Celestial Guide. World Champion
Is that short for Jurassic Park?
is
Oh, maybe.
World Champion is my most favorite celestial weapon, especially since I love playing Blitzball. Good man. Solid
Wonderful.
Gentleman and a scholar here. I always run a good team as soon as Blitzball becomes available and obtain all the reels. I keep Titus, Dado, and Letty. Okay, odd choice there. Then replace Dado with Wedge, and then I replace Boda, Jasu, Keepa, Rapshu, Mew when I can. Then I build the same team except replacing Letty with Brother and reset data, play Blitzball until I get Waka Sigil.
How do you feel about that, Cody?
Keeping Dado is a bit of an odd move.
Disagree.
Really.
Yep.
I mean, I know he gets better later, but he gets better at, level 60. So you gotta really, commit to him. Invest in Dado.
He becomes a great player around level 30.
Okay, well. There are plenty of other players who get greater sooner and stay greater longer.
Yeah, but they don't have the Aurochs outfit.
That's true. That's true. If that's what you're going for, simple aesthetics, I suppose that might be what you decide on.
John is nothing if not a man who appreciates simple?
Aesthetics.
No, just simple. That's Andy Simmons.
They make good lemonade.
Great.
I am Ergo Proxy, Omega Ruins guide video. As much as I love FFX, I never fully upgraded all celestial weapons or took on the ruins. It's about time we fix that.
Okay.
Well,
And
do we
using
have
our
videos
to
for
it,
this guy?
you know?
Yeah, he's in for a treat once he opens up that walkthrough playlist.
Cody, what did Nicholas Christian? What is this person's name?
Nicholas Christensen, you mean?
Yeah. What'd they say?
On the Arin Celestial Weapon Guide Masamune video,
Yeah, I think it was like 2 days ago, right?
he said, "What about Inside Sin?"
That's great.
What about Inside Sin?
What about Inside Sin, John?
I mean,
Care to say?
the question
What about
fully
Borg?
speaks for itself.
I don't think
Sin?
What?
Is Sin like the weird Leviathan thing?
Yeah, he's the final boss. He's not the final boss, but he's like the big bad of the game.
Okay.
What
I thought
about
your dad was the final boss?
What about Cenobia Desert, John? Care to elaborate? I don't think that was mentioned in the guide video either.
Oh, we're talking about Orange Celestial Weapon Guide, where you only need to collect 10 areas worth of monsters?
Yes, that's correct.
Right, so I mentioned the first 10 that we could get.
Yes.
Yeah,
Why didn't you mention the other two?
because you didn't need to get them.
Interesting creative decision there, especially considering the Cenobia Desert monster captures are far easier to obtain than the Cavern of the Stolen Faith monster captures.
Ooh.
Man, I cannot imagine a thing I give a shit about less.
Yeah, right now I'm sitting here going, some of those words sound like words.
Well, maybe you'll care about Angelica's comment on,
I
surprise,
sure do.
surprise, not a Final Fantasy video, but on our channel trailer.
Oh my
What?
god. Ah!
She says,
Is that the one where he deep throats a banana?
It is.
is it?
Yes.
It is. I'm thinking of our 2-year anniversary special. Wow. What a time. She says, this is the best thing ever. Why is it not more popular? I stumbled on this diamond by looking for humble tips on Final Fantasy X.
Incredible.
And then the final video from RK Belmont.
You're just gonna walk through that one and we spend so much goddamn time on the fucking FFX ones?
I'm just trying to, move along. We can circle back if there's time at the end. Or we can do it right now.
Thank you, Angelica.
No, the moment's passed.
Yeah.
Sorry, Angelica. Sorry. Cody didn't deem your comment good enough. I'm sorry.
Can't believe you wouldn't respect somebody of Rugrats fame.
Final Fantasy X Waka Celestial Weapon Guide World Champion video from RK Belmont. I'm presuming that to be Richter Belmont. At the beginning, the Aurochs were the worst team in Spira. They were the Houston Texans of Blitzball. But if you hire Waka and keep your original team, they turn out pretty good. What a smooth brain take.
Eat a bag of dicks.
Waka is fine. He's a mid-tier player. And there is no world where you come out of the gate swinging with the original Aurochs lineup.
All right, you're allowed to be wrong.
It just takes way too long for them to get good.
Cody, you know who beat the Albed Psyches before you did?
Who's that?
The original Aurochs.
Oh, the game that was off screen?
Hey, Waka put his fucking life on the line for that.
It is Waka's story, after all.
So, Scott, I found something that I don't care about even worse than that. When they
What's
talk
that?
about sports inside a video game, none of us want to hear
Right.
about.
Right.
I'm sorry you're all uncultured swines.
I'll be uncultured, I don't care.
If being cultured means liking Blitzball, then yeah, I'll be uncultured.
Wow.
Blitzball
Finally,
is one of the best things.
John, this is the great unifier of me and you about Final Fantasy hot takes. I'll defend Blitzball to the day I die.
We're talking about games within games.
Yeah, we're just...
Nothing tops Gwent. So.
Gwent.
He did.
Nothing tops Gwent.
No, nothing beats Wii bowling.
That's
That's
a
not
good
a game
point.
within a game. That's the game.
It's a game in the game.
No, Wii Sports is a bunch of different games. One of them being Wii Bowling.
That would imply that Final Fantasy X is a bunch of different games, one of them being Blitzball.
I mean, there's the walking around the overworld thing, there's the chocobo races, there's, I guess, something resembling, the reaction time gifts, fucking whatever, quick time events with the lightning. Fuck, I am tired.
Kyle, that's
What did he
FX.
say?
Oh, no, you're right.
A positive reaction time. Gotta hit the buttons.
You're president, everybody.
Speaking of video games,
golf carts are gay as hell.
we're gonna just talk about video games this time for my corner, not chapter.
Your channel.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a big one.
Oh, yeah.
So, does anybody have anything they want to start off with?
It's your quarter.
Okay,
You
well,
should be the one starting off.
yeah,
Sorry,
sure.
what is... You said we're talking about video games.
Yeah, video
We
game.
talked about video games a couple weeks ago. What are we talking about this time?
We're not doing a specified one. I have a broad selection of topics for us to cover, I guess.
All right.
I'm curious, because Scott was talking about at the beginning what kind of games that some of us are good at. What are some of the games that you guys, like, genre-wise, that you guys enjoy?
Final Fantasy X.
It's not a genre.
It's a genre all its own.
Are you kidding me?
It is standard JRPG.
Pokemon.
I like RPGs that aren't fucking stupid like Final Fantasy X.
No, think about all of the games that are in the Final Fantasy X genre. Blitzball, Chocobo Racing, Lightning
dodging, butterfly chasing,
Monster Catching.
red light, green light.
It's had 2 generations too.
Okay.
And, yeah, we can even talk about the sequel. Final Fantasy X2 is in the genre of Final Fantasy X.
Absolutely.
This is okay. Incredible niche. Sure.
And like they did great updates. Like with Blitzball, you don't play Blitzball anymore, you manage it.
They kind of lost me there.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Scott, third level of games that I do not want to have to deal with. Managing a sports team game inside a sports game inside Final Fantasy.
An RPG.
What about
Jesus, 3 levels of not wanting this.
what about just watching that game inside the game?
That makes me
God.
sick.
Okay.
Okay, I'm proposing a compromise here. Incoming trade agreement. John and I can stop talking about Final Fantasy X. We do it a lot. It's becoming a bit of a meme. If you guys agree for us to be able to start talking about Final Fantasy X-2, the sequel.
No.
I don't think John wants to talk about 10 too. I think he only likes 10.
The only thing I remember about 10-2 is that like goth lady
Pain.
Pain.
Pain, yeah. And Yuna has guns.
Yeah.
Why'd they give her guns? What?
Because she became an atheist. And she's like, my religion no longer prevents me from gatting fools.
Why doesn't everyone have guns?
my religion took my boyfriend away. And then it went away. So now we're just out here shooting fools.
Yeah, it went away because I literally killed God.
Oh, no.
Well, great. I'm glad. John, you're being awfully silent.
Oh.
In my favorite genre of games, you get to catch God
Oh.
and use him to fight your friends.
Okay, so Chris...
Your favorite genre of games is Pokemon.
Yes.
Not a genre. Again, just like Final Fantasy is not a genre.
Here's the thing. I would say Monster Collection is my favorite genre.
Oh,
because-
really? Hold on. Is it? Because you know what you can do with Final Fantasy X?
But I can't say that because I've tried to play other ones and they're just not Pokemon. So no, I can't say that.
Okay.
I've played like a pretty solid handful of JRPGs, And I think the only one I unequivocally enjoy is Dragon Quest.
And
Uh,
And
Then-
even then, I've played like 6 Dragon Quest games,
Really?
and 2 of them have been the kind I like.
8 and
What
11.
What was the
8 and
original
11.
question again?
what kind of genres of games do you actually enjoy, and like what do you get out of them? Like, what's the thing that really keys you in on it?
I get to have friends in Pokemon.
They're all fake.
Oof.
They're captured, so they can't leave me.
Is that why you kidnapped
Wow.
that cat?
That's what he did. That's pretty much what he did.
Just stole it right off the street.
Right in its fucking face.
Look, the ducks in the park are free. You can just take them.
That's
Dude,
true.
you know that cat's mom was like, "Fuck, he just took my kid." Well,
No responsibilities.
yeah, no responsibilities now.
I was thinking about buying a duck today.
Don't.
Oh,
Okay.
For dinner or
Yes, it was a dead duck. It wasn't a live duck.
okay.
well, I don't know. I
What
don't
would
know.
I do
We were talking about living ducks.
with a
I don't
living
know.
duck?
You've been talking about wanting a pet recently.
Yeah.
That is true.
So-
Yeah.
You can pet it. You can take it to the Oregon district and walk it around.
Yeah. I guess duck would be 4th or 5th place on the list. On the tier list.
So you ate a duck today?
I almost did. I was at the store and I'm like, I've never eaten a duck before. And
It's
then I'm like,
they're
really
really
greasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had duck one time, and it was not good. I was in Florida with my brother for spring break, and we go to this restaurant, and their special for the day was seared duck, and I was like, oh, I'll have you guys a special, and the dude's like, oh really? You're the first one to order it, and I'm like,
not a good sign.
excuse me, what?
That's great.
That's crazy, dude. That's, oh my god.
Oh,
I've seen a man eat duck tongues before.
I've seen someone prepare duck tongue specifically for his
I,
cat.
Frog is also like oily.
Really?
That's great.
Yeah, but
Well,
it
I'd call it mucus.
also no. You take off all the skin, like with the frog legs, but it tastes like oily chicken.
Okay.
I can agree to that.
I've wanted a lizard recently.
Okay.
Well,
I've been looking at lizards, and I just like the idea of bringing a lizard to John's house and playing D&D.
You mentioned this to me before, like a bearded dragon.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
that actually okay. We're talking about food, and you brought up that.
What if it just if it knocks over the bad guy, do they automatically die?
I could train it to do that.
It fucking snaps Reese in half.
That's it. That's the way it is. That's the way,
What if you trained this dragon to be a living mini and
Ooh.
trained it to move around a battle mat?
You act like that's not something I've immediately thought. Right?
Oh man.
I just wanted to give you the opportunity to say yes, I would do that.
I don't know how I've really genuinely been looking into this. This isn't about video games. I've been looking into it, and I don't know how easy it is to quote unquote train lizards.
So it requires like constant reinforcement, and getting them to do the thing requires a lot
You
of.
can do it. You can do it, lizard.
Yeah, it's you've got to.
Encouragement.
It's very difficult and very time consuming and requires a lot of work, but it is possible to get them to do certain things.
I don't
know
know
with
anything
Love
about this topic, but I've heard that bearded dragons are the exception to that rule. They're very easy to get along with. They're basically
Yeah.
they're basically cold-blooded dogs.
I mean,
I
I've seen somebody
love
who
that
has
idea.
a monitor lizard. That it comes when it's called. It'll jump up and give him a hug on
Are
command.
we talking about Tegu lizard?
No, not a tegu, an actual like a lace monitor.
The ones I've been looking at are, why are we talking about this? Blue tongue geckos, Tegu lizards, and bearded dragons.
Right.
Because they're fucking adorable.
I would be careful with a tegu, just because they are, relatively large carnivorous lizards.
Well, I mean, they are carnivorous, but they like They like bugs, obviously, but they also like fruit.
Right. I'm just saying, if you have this is more a disclaimer for anybody else. If you have other small furry friends, it will tear them to pieces and eat them.
That's fucking metal as hell.
I know. Also, if you are feeding them, you have to be careful about feeding them by hand because they will just carve a chunk out of your hand without any real concern.
So yeah, that's what it's yeah.
There's a couple fighting games that I really enjoyed. But
Really?
looking back on it now, I realized that they were pretty much all Dragon Ball Z related. Yeah.
Dude, those Tenkaichi games were awesome.
Yeah, they're making a new one.
Yeah, dude.
So I just had a realization that probably makes me sound stupid.
Okay.
So like book genres, right?
Uh-huh.
Fantasy and sci-fi are used as actual genre titles.
Sure.
But in video games, they're only used as setting.
Right.
But I can't think of I think Quake technically is a fantasy FPS.
Yeah, it kind of straddles the line
Oh, I
between
can think
fantasy
there's
and
plenty.
sci-fi.
Of fantasy FPS. I'd call like something. In fact, there's a game coming out. It was just revealed in the Sony like bullshit they do their showcase,
Mm-hmm.
where you're a wizard with like a magic wizard Gatling gun bullshit. I don't know. It looked kind of neat. Like you're shooting spells and whatever in its first person.
I've seen a couple first-person games that are explicitly like fantasy. I will say, they weren't good.
Okay.
Certain builds of Might and Magic are like that.
Yeah, there was one called like Battle Mage, and it plays like a first-person shooter if you were some dude who just chucks fireballs from his hands all day. Which, and well, it had a weird Magic the Gathering kind of aspect to it because you would collect cards
Okay.
and those would change your spells up. It wasn't.
Oh.
It was uncomfortable. It was a clunky mess, and it never gave you the cards you wanted.
My mind immediately went to the chivalry games. Though if you really want to get snobbish about genres, I guess those aren't technically fantasy. They're just like
Historical.
medieval.
And they aren't
Yeah.
technically shooters unless you're an archer. I
Well,
guess.
it's FPS first-person slasher.
There you go.
I will say the new Chivalry 2 looks really good.
We're playing.
Yeah.
We got it for free.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
It is. I think it is interesting.
He got so pissed.
Dude, every time. I mean, it's a game that I'm gonna get mad at. And I told Scott, like, I was good all the way up until when we were about done. And, like, the last fucking 15 minutes of that game, I wanted to strangle someone. Like, it was... I would spawn, I would run into the fight, 3 people would hit me and I would die. I would wait 6 seconds, spawn again. They were storming the bridge at us, so they got to our spawn camp, and just, I couldn't do anything. And it made me so fucking angry.
In the short time we played, the greatest thing that ever happened to me was I played an archer pretty much the whole time, and there was some knight guy running at me, and I had 3 shots left, and I missed the first. I hit him again, and he's getting closer, and I hit him with the last one, and it didn't kill him, but it was a headshot, so I'm like, he must be low. And he's winding up his swing, and I just throw the whole fucking bow in his head, and it kills him.
That is amazing. I have not
good.
played Chivalry 2. I've played the original, and I've played Mordhau, but I wanted to pick that one up. The one thing I will say that I think I've seen that was amazing for it was I saw one of those siege matches where you're assaulting the castle from the attacker's point of view, and this dude decided that he was going to do a tactical insertion by getting on one of the onagers
Yep.
and
Yep.
chucking himself into the castle.
You're fucking crazy if you didn't think we did the exact same
Okay,
thing.
hold on.
And
See,
I
here's
want
the
you to
thing.
know,
Here's the best.
was
No,
pulled
that's
off
not.
successfully.
That's not the part that was the best part about it. One of the
Disagree.
defender's ballista hit him mid-air and just
No shot.
carried him like a mile backwards, pinned to the front of the bolt.
I missed the
Okay.
castle. I went right over it.
My first 3 times I missed the castle.
I played the first Chivalry, and John, I had a very similar experience to you. I find it very frustrating to play. Although, that game did give me one of the most memorable gamer tags that I've ever seen. It was Sketty Tuesday. Like Spaghetti Tuesday. Like an event. And I was playing back in college, and I would say Sketty Tuesday so much that that my RA actually like created an event called Sketty Tuesday, and
everyone knows it's Taco Tuesday.
What's that?
Not anymore,
It's
baby.
Taco Tuesday.
Not anymore.
Not to Italians.
It was just a dumb gamer tag in Chivalry, and my roommates legit started a Sketty Tuesday weekly event.
Incredible.
I think you should combine that with Taco Tuesday and put the spaghetti in the taco shell.
Oh my god, that sounds delicious.
That's iCarly Day.
I disagree.
A lot of carbs.
I don't
is
think
a
that
lot of
tastes good at
carbs.
all.
Spaghetti
That'd be pretty
tacos.
great.
Yeah, no.
I'd like a spaghetti taco.
iCarly was wrong.
Whatever. You're telling me anything squishy inside a taco that already tastes good is going to be good.
Right?
The thing is, they're always hard taco shells, and I don't like hard taco shells.
I've legitimately already had a spaghetti taco or like a spaghetti burrito. They're amazing.
You got to be
No.
getting soft tacos, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be a soft taco thing.
Throw in
Any
some
Mexican restaurant worth its salt is going to be giving you soft tacos.
Right?
They're not
Taco
going to be
Tuesday.
giving you spaghetti in there.
Throw in some skyline
Have
chili.
you asked?
Lovely.
If I'm going to a Mexican restaurant, I am getting Baja fish tacos.
Of
All
course
right.
you are,
That's-
because you
that's
can't
it,
have
yeah,
anything
yeah.
else.
Exactly. What are you going to have, a celery taco, you fucking animal?
I could get shrimp fajita.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Sure.
Kyle brings up an interesting point of debate.
Yeah.
We're all from Southwest Ohio. Where does everybody fall on the Skyline chili debate?
I love
Oh,
Skyline.
it sucks.
There's a debate.
Ooh, discourse.
Oh, let's go.
I love this.
I'll be honest. I understand why people don't like Skyline.
Why?
I can't argue with them.
It is toddler diaper consistency.
It is 100%
And in color.
and in color.
And I will defend it to from a non-Ohio person with my life.
You just said that in a way that confuses me on where you stand.
Well,
He means-
that's what I'm
he
saying.
means he would-
He's saying he's so prideful of being an Ohio person. Ohio people, from the outside, Ohio people have to love Skyline, and he will defend that.
I've known-
I defend Skyline to people that aren't from Ohio, but I will gladly tell people, look, I don't like it.
So
I
you're,
could shit on spaghetti and give it to you right now.
so
Yeah.
what you're telling me is you're two-faced.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't want you representing Ohio for me.
I'm gonna
No,
be honest.
he's,
I give no shits about him representing Ohio. I don't think Ohio has anything worth defending, really.
I agree with Kyle here.
So just before this, I watched this short from like the College Humor people, right? And they have this weird game show where they have to take shots if they guess whose story it is, right? And they were like, who rode a roller coaster 50 times and blacked out? And so one of the guys, Grant, they're like, it's gotta be you, right? And they were like, name your top 5 roller coasters right now. And he's like, wooden or metal? And they were like, wooden. And he said the Beast, and I got so excited. And I don't
What a
ride
story!
roller
What a
coasters.
great story from from content creators that aren't fucking us. That's awesome. What a great story.
Kings Island. I hate roller coasters, but Kings Island, I gotta rep that shit.
You know, it is a bit of an odd thing where, being from the Midwest, we are kind of spoiled for amusement parks.
Weirdly,
I always thought Kings Island was kind of like a mid-tier amusement park, especially with Cedar Point so close by.
right.
Mhm.
But apparently Kings Island has like some really good rep and
Yeah.
like has some actual records.
That is one of the hilarious things. People are like, "What the hell is Ohio known for?" There's like 8 fucking amusement parks that are like top tier across the country somehow.
Also, the Beast? Is he talking about Return of the Beast?
No, he's
or
talking about
Son of
the
Beast or
original
whatever?
Beast. Like that.
Dude, Beast is mid at best.
It was pretty awesome when it was like new. You know, going on 40 or 50 years old, however old that damn thing is, it is a mess back there. I think they shut it down. I think they legitimately shut it down because they can't maintain it. It is so old.
They shut down Son of Beast and dismantled
because-
it.
Yeah.
That's because it was
I think
giving
a
people
person
health
died.
problems.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. You were taking a risk riding the Son of Beast, and all those fucking pussies who couldn't handle it should have just kept their complaints to themselves.
They took down the
'Cause I-
Vortex,
Remember that
too.
time?
I'm so mad they took
I
down
think-
the Vortex. That was Mom's favorite.
I think this was in the 90s. Like, there was a day at Kings Island where 3 people died
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
in, like, separate incidences.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's fucked up.
There's
Oh,
also, you could tell that the Kings Island came out of nowhere because they still have that cemetery right in the front of it. Just that they paved
Well,
around it to
well-
make parking spots.
Chris, don't you know that's where all the dead customers go?
That's where they go, yeah.
You get a free plot here if you die in the park.
That's a pretty
Could
good
you
deal.
imagine? Could you imagine being somebody who services like the rides, and they're like, "All right, that was Flight of Fear. You go at 68 miles. That guy's missing a head."
It did suck that they took away they took away Hanna-Barbera land and replaced it with Charlie Brown.
Yeah, that was irritating. I do not
I
care
haven't
about
been to Kings
Peanuts.
Island in years.
I gotta say,
Neither have I.
Kings Island did like a 75-year, 100-year, fucking whatever. I don't know whatever the anniversary is. But they did that last year, and for the whole summer they were doing a light show at the end of the night. And during the month of June, they had a snow system in place that would make it like it would be able to change the temperature like at the front of the park, like the first like 30 feet around the front of the park.
Okay.
Like by like 30 degrees, and it would make it start like snowing, like the soap bubbles to make it look like snow. And I ain't gonna lie, it was an extremely magical moment.
I haven't been to this version, but I've heard some people talk about it that was enjoying it. Back during when The Walking Dead was a big thing, in October, they had like 600 people dressed up as zombies chasing people through the park in
Is
just
it-
hordes.
Well, every year they do the Kings Island Halloween Haunt.
Right.
Yeah. That's like a yearly event.
Yeah.
Oh, they still do that?
Yeah,
Well, I don't
they
know
do
if
it
they
every
do
year.
the zombie. I don't know if they do the zombie thing he's talking about.
Yeah, do they have a huge horde of people chasing them?
My ex-sister-in-law actually, they put her in makeup, and she was one of the zombies.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Speaking
That's
about
great.
people dying
I
at
suck
amusement
dick
parks,
at fighting games. Oh, sorry.
I still have more to say.
Okay.
Great.
I have a friend. Speaking about people dying at amusement parks specifically,
Yeah.
I have a friend who grew up in New Jersey, and she would regularly go to Action Park,
Oh,
And-
I've heard of this.
and she said it was just a bloodbath.
Oh my god.
I've heard of Action Park because it's a bloodbath.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've never heard anything about this.
I know nothing about this.
Really?
No,
I'm
Oh,
completely in the dark.
I got nothing.
Action Park was a infamously dangerous amusement park, and like a lot of people got hurt there. A couple of people died, I think. There was just no safety oversight. They just built rides, and they're like, that'll probably be fun. Like no actual architectural design put into anything.
New Jersey had a
Were they
overpopulation
wrong?
problem, so they funded Action Park to deal with that.
Oh.
Okay.
There's a documentary about it called Class Action Park. If you want to learn more.
Did you guys ever see the designs for the euthanasia roller coaster?
Yeah,
Of course I have. I dream about it every night.
Oh dear. Okay.
I want to write it.
Ugh.
Unfortunately, it's not real. Yet.
No.
Yet.
Mm.
It seems like it would be really expensive to build it just in materials.
I mean, probably no more than your standard
The
roller
Beast.
coaster. The
Yeah.
Beast.
I guess.
Well,
Okay. Do we want to talk about video games now?
I actually have one more thing to say about.
Okay.
Oh, that's great. I cannot think of a single thing that I feel about amusement parks. I've been to one.
Mhm.
Actually, circling back to video games, I loved the Roller Coaster Tycoon games.
Oh,
Like those business style like venture games.
Yeah.
people know what Roller Coaster Tycoon is, John.
Okay, so do you want to know something amazing from a technical perspective about Roller Coaster Tycoon?
No, but you're going to tell me anyway.
Yes, I am. That
I already know.
This
but
does
you're
not
gonna tell me
mean
anyway.
this does not mean anything to the rest of you except for maybe Cody. The entirety of Roller Coaster Tycoon was programmed in assembly, which is for the rest of you one level above
What?
the hardware. So it was basically programmed in ones and zeros. Like they didn't write it in a programming language. The dude just understood how computers worked and did it all basically with the most simplistic thing possible.
If it's written in ones and zeros, then how come I can see Darth Vader?
That's a good point.
What I'm
Answer
saying
that
is
one,
that guy
smart boy.
understood how to translate ones and zeros into Darth Vader.
I knew so little about what you were talking about that for a split second, when you said assembly, I thought you meant Microsoft Access.
That would have been even
And I'm
cooler.
like,
You saying that actually just reminded me. Have you guys seen these games that people have made in PowerPoint?
No.
It's actually pretty incredible.
It sounds
God, I wish
incredible.
I knew we were talking about this before I went in.
That would have been
Uh,
impressive, yeah.
I'll get back to you.
All right,
I know that,
cool.
like,
Send us a link or
they-
something. That's impressive.
Do they make
in
games
high
like
school? What?
do they make games like Snake, or what do they make, Scott?
No, like proper games. I saw this one guy play it. I don't have PowerPoint, so there's no way I could play it. But it was a horror game, like a proper point-and-click horror game with art and everything in PowerPoint.
Oh, I
Wow.
see how you could do that. Because you can like set up little boxes and stuff inside the slide to go to specific ones. It's basically like a choose your own adventure game or choose your own adventure book, but you do it with PowerPoint and it's gamified.
I was actually back when I had it in my head that I could make a video game. I actually downloaded a software to build point and click. They're not point and click adventure games. They are like Zork.
Oh, like
Um,
text-based.
Text-based.
Text adventures. I think it was called Twine.
I think you're right. That sounds
and it
about
was-
correct.
And it was just creating windows and making relationships between them. It was a lot like Microsoft Access, actually.
I don't think that's true because Access is a database management system.
Yeah, but like in one of the tabs that you would have to go in, it had windows with information you put in, and you had bars connecting them and making relationships that way.
Okay. Yeah.
The
Okay.
game I was talking about is Roche Limit.
Okay.
Roche Limit. Well, I'll have to check this
ROCHE Limit.
Okay.
Roche Limit. It's named after the scientific principle where like
Yeah.
it's the theoretical limit that a planetary body could be before it breaks up from another planetary body's gravity.
Yeah.
Okay.
It also reminds me of a series of, they were kind of choose your own adventure books, but way more sophisticated from back in like the 80s. It was basically like a 300 or 400 page novel, and each page basically had a new frame from like a dungeon crawler-esque video game. And you would basically, be on a certain frame of the book, and you're like, okay, you're at this part of the dungeon, and make a decision. And if you're like, I want to go right at this intersection, and it's like, turn to page 319, and then you get there, and you're like, this is what you see now. And there was also there was an enemy in the dungeon with you that you could encounter and fight. and depending on your actions, you just like be flipping to all the different pages in this book.
There's actually a video game they made of it recently, but it was a Choose Your Own Adventure series. It might be what you're talking about, actually. I can't remember what it was called. It might be called Sorcery. Either way, in the Choose Your Own Adventure book, you would like roll dice and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, there was one that there was a. I guess it's technically not a Choose Your Own Adventure book, and it's more like an RPG book. And it had like you build a character, and it came with like a character sheet, and you took your character through the story of the novel.
That's great. Speaking of Choose Your Own Adventure books, that's similar. When I first started reading House of Leaves,
Yeah.
that was like the vibe I was getting.
Okay.
That's the only thing I've ever read that's even close to this bullshit.
Okay.
I say bullshit in the most loving way.
Alrighty.
I think I know what you're talking about, Scott, because I just got
Yeah.
my copy of House of Leaves today, and I haven't even read anything in it, but I just kind of thumbed through the pages, and like I said out loud in my apartment, while alone, I'm just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like, this really pushes the boundaries of what it even means to be a book.
We'll delve deeper into it when it's my corner in 2 weeks.
Okay.
We could probably make an RPG based on Ohio.
Okay.
Please, let's not.
No, let's go ahead. Let his creativity flow.
You're being stifling, Kyle.
Okay. I'm
All right, choose your starter. You have farm boy,
Grass
hipster,
man.
somebody who's guaranteed to have a drug addiction by the age of 14, and
Scott.
and teenage parent.
Oh.
I know
Damn.
all of those.
Oh, and sorry, this is actually a shot at me before I say it. College dropout who got a forklift operating license.
Fuck.
Ooh.
That's like
That's a shot at me too.
It's not meant to be.
That's like 20% of the population in Ohio.
Well, it's 40% of our population.
That's good.
Indeed.
Damn, that was a quick maths you pulled out there. Why'd you drop out of college?
Yeah.
Accounting was really boring.
Mm.
You know what really does piss me off? As we just continue to build and develop our topics of conversation, here's another segue. RPG lit really annoys me as a literary genre. It's basically isekai, but for video games. Or for like Dungeons and Dragons. And
Wait, what do you mean? Now I'm not sure what you
RPG
mean.
So it's
literature.
so it's
Right.
like a guy from the real world gets transported into the story of a tabletop role-playing game, world.
Oh, is that like what all RPG lit is what you're saying?
For the most part, I don't have a great grasp on it because I bounced off
I've
it
never
so
read
hard.
any of these books.
It could be something like this guy gets transported. It's like Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court. It's like Three Hearts and Three Lions.
I know what isekai is.
But
I guess you're saying it for the benefit of the audience.
I suppose. But
Yeah, I don't know what
Instead
he's
of-
talking about.
instead of being transported to sick as hell locations like medieval England or medieval France, he gets transported into like a video game to the point where he wakes up and he's like, this is weird. And then he's looking around a forest and then a pop-up window appears in him that says, quest added to your log.
That is quite literally most modern isekai anime.
Yeah, that's just isekai anime.
And he's like, this is just like one of my favorite tabletop RPGs that I like to play.
To be fair, almost all of those animes are based on like web light novels, so it's literally just what he's talking about.
The new Jumanji movies.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually exactly what we're talking about, but it's a book.
I don't want to be that guy. Can you say the name of that for me one more time?
Yeah, please.
Isekai?
No,
Nope.
Jumanji?
that's not how you said it last time, and you know it.
Jumanji? How
Nope.
did I say it?
Jumanji.
Okay.
Anyways,
Great.
actually, I didn't think about how that is 100% just peep. I mean, I guess
It is.
because the original Jumanji, they never went into the game board.
Right.
Right.
The game board came to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
Well, I
was
think
just
in
a
the book they go into
stampede
the game
and
board.
some...
Oh wait, no. Wait, what are we talking about?
Robin Williams
He did.
did,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but we didn't see that part.
Yeah.
Right.
The
But it was an
kids
isekai
did.
for him.
Fair.
Until it
Um,
wasn't.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing you have to realize, Kyle. It was an isekai for him until it wasn't, and
that
then
one-
it was an isekai for him
The
again.
space one starts with a Z, doesn't it?
Zathura.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I totally forgot that existed.
Yeah, boy.
Early
With
Kristen Stewart.
And early Kristen Stewart and early Josh Hutcherson.
Wait, Jumanji is early Kristen Stewart.
Hmm?
What?
Is she in both?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Kristen Dunst is who I'm thinking of.
Oh.
Yeah.
That other
Who's
person.
Kristen Stewart?
Twilight.
Yeah, Twilight.
Oh, that fucking wooden plank of a bitch.
I remember her being pretty good in Zathura.
She was.
I'm sure she was. Like,
She,
it's not her fault.
yeah, that was that's
that. You
that
know,
was the book. That was the
We
direction.
Had, yeah,
that
we
was
had bad
It's not
material.
exactly.
We had a
It's-
bad director.
It's not her fault that all her acting faces are the same.
her character. I've never read Twilight, but as far as I understand, her character is literally supposed to be a plank of wood that falls in love with Edward.
Yes.
So that the reader can be like, "Oh, Edward's so nice."
Stephanie Meyer's a hack.
Sure.
Well, it's probably operating on the same principle that a lot of video game protagonists do, in that they're just supposed to be as generic and bland as possible so that the player can imprint on them and
Yeah.
immerse themselves as much as possible.
and we've already proven that doesn't work nearly as well as having a really well written character that you just kind of play as.
I think it worked.
Because Red Dead 2 is a thing, and you guys will not stop talking about it, and I don't
didn't.
disagree with you.
Hold on, time out. We haven't talked about Red Dead 2 once tonight.
In fact,
well, we
you're
haven't
the one that brought it up, Kyle.
But now that you have, God, I fucking love Arthur.
Arthur.
I haven't even watched it or played it, and even I'm like, Arthur seems like a pretty good character.
We're like the fucking seagulls from Finding Nemo. The moment that
Yeah.
one of us say Arthur, we all just hop out there. And then we immediately segue to Dutch.
Yep. Well, that's great. Isn't that great? What were we talking about?
I think like the quiet, impressionable protagonists were a heavy part of the 2000s era of video games.
I think it starts more in like the mid 90s.
Actually, you're right. Even all the way back to Doom.
Like, well, yeah.
Pac-Man.
Okay, so Doom is written as... Actually, Doom's a somewhat compelling character if they told the story at all.
Yeah, he had a pet bunny, remember?
I thought he had, like,
Oh.
a wife and kid that also got destroyed by the demons. But
They're not important.
Doom is basically the first isekai
Uh-huh.
because he gets transported to hell.
Ah.
yeah, okay. But he doesn't get, like, cool RPG powers or awesome hell powers. He's just a dude with a shotgun, and apparently that's enough.
Well, Holger Carlson never got cool RPG powers either.
Who?
Do you think isekais are based on underworld stories?
No.
Like
Like the
Like,
Kate Beckinsale
80s?
movies?
no. Like Orpheus went into the underworld to save his lady. So he goes into the underworld, and when he in his way back,
I mean, in a broad sense, sure.
and there's a lot of those.
No, I believe that all modern literature is derived from the
Taming
ancient...
of the Shrew.
No, the ancient Alien versus Predator mythos.
Right.
It all comes back to that.
By the way,
Right.
I've recently gotten into Aliens Fireteam Elite. I would like to play with you guys. I've started enjoying like cooperative horde shooters for some reason. I don't know why. So that's apparently a genre that speaks to me.
I've heard that World War Z game is actually pretty good.
Hmm.
I was thinking about that the other day.
I've never even seen that one.
It's apparently pretty cool, and I remember seeing a way back when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
The footage of like a genuine horde of zombies like they do in the stupid movie climbing on top of each other, and it's cool. It's cool to. It's like mass shooter simulator.
Isn't that most
John and
FPSs, to be honest?
John and I played Back for Blood when it came out, and it wasn't great. It wasn't Left 4 Dead 2, but it was fun.
Go ahead.
I think our impression of it was a lot more favorable than a lot of other people's.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, they fixed it.
What?
Yeah, I'm confused.
John,
Why
you
was
were
there just a silence.
John, you were trying to say something.
I thought the card system to it was an interesting take.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only reason it was even really there was because they knew that they had to make something definitely different from Left 4 Dead, but still close enough to be able to sort of capture the magic that was Left 4 Dead.
Right.
But like the only I remember making a melee build, and you could just every time you would hit an enemy, it would speed up your melee attacks. And it would reach a point where you are just a fucking tornado of melee spins. But then we get to the final boss of the game, and it's like, well, this is fucking useless.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with a fucking baseball bat?
Against this giant, like, Godzilla monster.
And to make it even worse, like, it had an instant kill, like, hitbox. So, like, if you walked too close to it and it reached out, you just instantly died. And it would be like, oh, you went down. But also your body is right where the no hitbox thing is, so you immediately die. And it's like, come on, man.
So,
Not to push too hard back on you guys saying it's pretty solid. I haven't really seen any gameplay of it, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But I do know you two. And you two do seem like the type of people who would buy something and then defend it because you bought it.
I agree with that. I'm also just kind of easily impressed by things.
Yeah.
And I don't have very high standards.
I bought Chivalry 2
buy
for free,
shit.
and it was dog shit.
okay. Speaking of that, what are games and/or genres that you guys just cannot stand?
Fighting games.
Final Fantasy X. No, I'm just kidding.
Uh,
What did you say, Scott?
Fighting games. I suck so much dick at them. I love Tenkaichi, but I cannot abide the traditional fighting game like Street Fighter or Tekken, I guess. I just suck at them so bad.
Right.
I never really
See,
got into them.
The only one that I ever got into was For Honor, and that one was a very different game, and it is not even nearly as technically advanced.
I wouldn't even call that a fighting game, really.
It is a fighting game. It is.
Not in the
Those are
traditional
fighting words.
sense.
It's not in the traditional sense, but all of the mechanics that make a fighting game are there.
It's a fighting game in the same sense that Chivalry is a fighting game.
Yeah.
No.
Well, no, I think you guys are selling this. I'm kind of leaning towards Kyle here.
It very much is. Everyone
have
who
to
plays it is like,
enter
it's a
guard
fighting
mode
game.
and
It's
whatever.
not... Yeah, it's not something like Chivalry.
You have to point where you're blocking, and
Yeah.
it's no different than like getting perfect parries or whatever the fuck. in
Yep,
Street
you
Fighter.
totally can do that. Like, all of the moves are not as heavy... The thing that makes it different is that the moves are very heavily telegraphed, whereas in modern fighting, or most fighting games, it's very, very fast-paced with very, very little reaction time. And most people kind of look at the 3D aspect and all of the different game modes, but the core fundamentals are still a fighting game. You got your high, low, and mid stance. You've got your heavy and light attacks. You've got your grab takedowns and your mix-ups and, all of that stuff. But it's just slower in 3D, and there's a bunch of other shit going on in the background that kind of interrupts you, that throws people thinking it's not a fighting game.
Here's a total departure. Do you guys remember, have you ever seen that video of 4 Captain Falcons on Hyrule in Melee?
I
Yes.
think.
I don't
And-
think so.
And the music is like dun 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 bum 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 dun dun la la dun la la, and whenever it goes dun la la, they would do the taunt, so it goes show me your moves, show me your moves, show me your moves in time with the music.
No, I don't believe I've seen that.
That's great. I'll have to show it to you.
Okay.
We're just gonna have a whole big link dump in the description of this video.
Sure.
I don't like video game versions of board games.
That's a
Okay.
hard genre to pull off to begin with.
So like
I've played
they
one.
have
I have
they
played
have
one.
Monopoly and Risk that I know of.
I got all the trophies in Monopoly.
Okay.
That's
Really?
nice.
Chris, that was
I'd rather
that was not
play
the,
it on a table.
You know, you said the video game version of board games, and I did not think at all that you meant like Mattel board games. I was thinking
What did you think?
I was thinking something like Warhammer 40K
Baldur's Gate 3.
No, because at that point that's just RTS. That's
No.
just an RTS
This was a first person shooter. It was
Yeah, I played it,
Deathwing.
actually. I played one of
It
them.
was
Oh,
40K
never mind.
Deathwing. There is a Deathwing board game where you walk down hallways and seal off doors and get to the objective and stuff, and every once in a while a fucking gene stealer will pop out of the fucking door and like, and they tried to
Not
replicate
my denims.
they tried to replicate a board game, a very slow-paced, very tactical, long corridor positioning is important, manage doors board game into a horde FPS, and it didn't work.
Is there a 40K RTS?
Yeah, there's a
Blood
lot of
Bowl?
them.
There's Warhammer. There's Total Warhammer. It's not 40K.
No,
Yeah.
Dawn of War series is the big one. That is the big one that everyone knows. There's a few other ones. There's a lot more turn-based ones than there are real-time ones.
Total Warhammer is fun as fuck.
Yes, it is. It is a fantastically cinematic game. I love watching shoutcasts for Warhammer. Cody, you got a game you don't like?
Oh, look at the time. That's the.
Well, no. I'm not leaving it. No. I'm not leaving. I ain't fucking leaving.
Okay, alright. Well,
Um,
since you're not leaving, and Cody's not going to give us an answer, card games.
Ooh.
No, I was actually going to say that John, you've had a long storied history with, I guess, not liking card games or something.
I've just
Right.
grown out of them. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of them anymore.
I don't know. What I was going to say, though, is it's something I actually want to talk about with you guys, but we never broached the subject. Mainly because I was distracted. And it's Kyle's corner.
Steal it.
I'm going to steal it. Here's my corner. What's a game that you know cannot exist, but you really wish could? Here's an example. I gave it to you before, but for the benefit of the audience. A war Pokemon game. Like Lieutenant Surge in the Great Pokemon War, his life getting saved by a Raichu, bullets flying, Pokemon dying. I would love the fuck out of that.
Oh god, that's not what I imagined when you first said that, and now I'm just like, I'm imagining something resembling like Call of Duty or anything like that,
Yeah.
but Pokemon. And
Imagine blasting a Charizard in the guts.
oh god.
I
I want to see that level of violence from fucking
man.
Nintendo. Oh, that would be cool.
No, I don't think it would be.
I
Maybe I'm
disagree.
You don't think so?
That's the only way to get me
Ooh.
interested in Pokemon.
Maybe I'm just a stick in the mud about this, but I don't find ideas that are like incredibly novel very interesting. It like what you said, like a weird mashup of genres and styles that has never been done before. The reason is that they've never done it before because it's probably not a very good idea.
Well, no, functionally, it would basically be Borderlands. Your action skill would be to tell your Pokemon to fucking shoot that guy with lightning.
Yeah, I don't think that would be very interesting.
Borderlands is fucking awesome.
Borderlands is all right.
I disagree.
Ooh.
Borderlands is it's a loot and shoot, and I'm not super fan. Borderlands is, if I may, Diablo for FPS people.
I love Borderlands.
You could love
Borderlands 2.
You could love Borderlands 2. That's one of those things that was kind of a novel idea, and I can see why Cody might think that those kind of things don't work. They were still wildly popular, though.
Oh, no. Borderlands is an incredibly original idea, I think. No, I'm just saying... it goes back to my disagreement with dumb fan theories. Mainly, there's a reason that consumers are not making the products. Because most of the time, a lot of the consumers just have bad ideas.
I don't disagree. I don't necessarily think that they wouldn't be a bad idea. I would still like to see an attempt at it.
I really disagree. I think the reason a game like, specifically this Pokemon game, the reason it could never be made isn't because it's a bad idea, it's because there's no way the family-friendly franchise of Pokemon could have a game like this.
Sure. I mean, we can chalk it up to whatever business decision it is. But I think I'm sticking by what I'm thinking. I think a lot of people just have bad ideas, and there's a reason that they're never realized.
Well, what's a game you?
I can tell you a game, an example of a game that I always wanted to exist, and that I knew never would, and then was proven wrong. That was a very large scale, heavy, like enormous map, huge player count version of Halo, with heavy objective play and the massive vehicle, sandbox set. You've got tons of people playing various different things, from Marines to the different kinds of Covenant, in a big, face-off kind of match. And then I was proven wrong here in the last, 5 years, because they made an Arma mod for Halo, and it is amazing.
You mean a Halo mod for Arma?
Yeah, sorry. I got that backwards. I'm very tired.
I was very confused for a second.
Sorry. Yeah, no, they took the content from Halo and made it into Arma.
I do have an example, actually, and I could come up with a dozen more examples just by looking on a few choice subreddits of delusional people.
I mean, from you. Don't be trite.
No, from me. A bad idea. In that I've seen a lot of people suggesting a prequel to Red Dead 2. And it being the story of, the early days of the Vanderlyn gang. And I'm like, no, that wouldn't be a good story. Because the story of Red Dead 2 isn't good because everything is going well.
Right.
That's not the most interesting point in the Vanderlyn gang's timeline. And so I think people just equate good game with more game. And they're like, well, I really liked Red Dead 2, so I'd really just prefer more of that. And they just have it in their idea that what if it's just about this? And I think it kind of just loses the kind of the insight into what made that story good.
Yes.
Something that I always get annoyed about with prequels in general is it's like, so you're basically admitting to me that the thing that we watched that was standalone, right?
Mm-hmm.
It necessarily wasn't the most interesting part.
Right.
Like Kingsman.
Mm-hmm.
You're admitting to me that this Kingsman movie, this is actually the interesting part. We tuned in on the part that after the interesting stuff. But wait till you see the interesting stuff.
No, for sure.
And it's just dumb. That's why I was actually not so sold on the idea of Red Dead 2 being before
I agree.
I played it. I thought this is gonna be dumb. Like I know like what happens.
Mhm.
It's all gonna turn out bad. And then I'm like, oh god, it's all gonna turn out bad. This is awesome.
There's a game that is out that I want to play because I was like, this would be so cool, and then they made it, and I'm like, I have no money to buy it, which
Tegman.
is so I've always thought it'd be like really fun and interesting to just get like a really specific mini game and then enhance it like 100-fold. And I always liked, like, let's say in Skyrim, right? One thing I would do a lot in Skyrim is cook and make potions and different things like that.
Okay.
And so there's this game, I forget what it's called, but it's like brew craft something or another, right?
Is this an alchemy game?
It's an alchemy game.
I have that game, I think.
You're like a shop. You're like a potion shop.
I have that
you
game.
To go get things.
I have that game.
It's
There's this game called Potionomics, Chris. And it is the kind of game that I feel was created for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 1/3 alchemy, making potions, 1/3 maintaining like the economy of your shop, and 1/3 dating sim.
Interesting.
There's also that I think it's like a fighting cooking game where you have like these food war style competitions, and you go get rare ingredients by fighting these monsters.
That's a bit bizarre.
I don't know anything about
I have
It's
seen
like all like anime style.
I have seen a very interesting novel idea for a game that is being made. I don't know how far along it is, but it was super interesting to me, and unfortunately completely inaccessible to the vast majority of the population. I don't know what the game was called, but it is a hybrid FPS VR game where it's a competitive game where one person is on it. So you guys know like Evolve or any other game where it's like one specific team versus one other person, and it's very asymmetrical. So the person in VR is basically a giant face and pair of hands that float around, kind of like the one Star Fox dude. And Andros. And the point of the game is to smash all of the other 5 players who are playing on their regular computer, FPS style. And they have like jetpacks and rocket launchers, and they've got to try to take you down while you wander around the map and try and smash them.
This reminds me of
silly.
that Fable game they were making.
Go ahead.
Where I don't think it actually had anything to do with like the Fable series, but it was like a part of it somehow.
Oh,
And one player, it was like a multiplayer thing, and one player had to create a dungeon,
yeah.
and all the other players went into it.
Oh, I was under the impression this was a Dragon Age thing.
Fable Legends, I believe, is what it was. It got
I
canceled.
have seen that around.
Oh,
I have another example.
okay.
Take a look at all of my sticks in this mud puddle that I am offering.
Is that the game?
No,
I'll buy it.
It's the example is the most recent. I'm assuming the only ever Winnie the Pooh horror movie that came out this year or like last year.
This year.
Like the idea that these smooth brains came up with was, what if we take an IP that is traditionally aimed at children and, the younger demographics, and make it like really edgy and like adult and explicit. And it was shit. It was not good.
See, I feel like you're not really I'm not, like, that's not what I'm going for. That's kind of what the Pokemon thing sounds like. But like for my other example that I had, like that's kind of what I'm really going for is the.
It's to me at least, and I'm fully aware that I might be misunderstanding this. But it's like, what if we added like extreme violence to Pokemon?
That's not at all what I'm going for. Like, it doesn't have to be violent, but what if it were like an actual FPS style game, but in Pokemon? Because, I mean, the precedent's already there. They've said there was a Pokemon War.
Yeah, he's basically saying,
I want to know what it was like.
What's the idea in your head that you've always had for a video game that you think would be really, really fun, that you know won't exist because you know it's probably too novel of an idea, or just an IP thing just won't allow it to happen?
No. I understand. I understand the topic. I think I didn't understand the details. I think about what Scott was suggesting. I'm just being
like my other
a fuddy-duddy and saying
that
most of these ideas are dumb.
Well,
That's fine. It's okay if they're dumb and they don't work, but like I kind of want to know if you were really hoping for a specific kind of game that you know nobody else really wanted, what would it be?
Another one I gave, like example I gave was, I'm using the word Star Wars as an example to like give you an idea of what the setting might be. But what if it were like one of those old school hunting games? I mentioned this before, but in the Star Wars universe.
Sure.
So like, I know
Cabela's
Monster
Big Game
Hunter
Hunt
is kind of like that, but not really. I'm talking, I want to have a laser gun and track down some horrible monster with my gun in the forest and then take it out. How silly would that be?
I was actually going to mention something like that. Solely because the Battlefront 2 not minigame, but the specific game mode where you are the stormtroopers trying to escape the Ewoks after they just lost the war.
Right.
Like, there was something that I'm like, there was something oddly,
there's something,
what is the word?
All I can think is there's something really charming about those incredibly asymmetric games.
Atmospheric is what I'm trying to think of. There was something really atmospheric about you're a stormtrooper, you no longer have any contact with anybody, the Death Star just blew up, and now there's all these wildlife animals hunting you down, even though at the end of the day they're little fucking Care Bears. But they're Care Bears throwing beehives at you and fire bombs and shit.
They're trying to take the cutesy little Ewoks and make it so that, like, even with that in mind, the game mode was fun, and the game mode worked for us.
Right. Like,
I got frightened.
That is one of the things where it's like, if you do something well, even a dumb idea with great execution can be a really fun game.
I suppose I should also disclose that I make it a point to not enjoy anything as much as possible. Right. And so
that's a sad way to live.
It means I don't get disappointed about things very often.
But it also means that you.
It also means you don't get appointed.
No, I'm
experience like actual joy about a thing.
That's a bald-faced lie. I still get excited about things, but I don't get like hyped about things. I don't I don't get an idea or see a trailer for a movie and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be awesome. I'm like, oh, we'll see. There's a good chance it'll be bad.
The cynicism. I don't disagree with you.
You can't get burned if you don't have high expectations.
I mean, yes, you can. And it's all the worse for it.
Yeah,
one of those instances was like
in the middle quote. I expect nothing and I'm still disappointed.
It's like the bar was down in hell, but here you are limboing with the devil.
But the thing is, like, if it's still good, I still get to enjoy it, and I even get the extra added satisfaction of not realizing I was going to enjoy it.
I don't think that's a fun way to live your life, though.
It's doing all right so far.
Well, that's good for you. Do we have any other topics? Because I think I've been sitting in this chair for about the last 8 hours, and my tailbone is slowly cracking.
It is so goddamn hot in my apartment. The air has been off for an hour and a half. I'm sweating like crazy.
Okay. I think we can wrap it up there then.
Well,
Send us home,
there
Chris.
we were.
All right.
A lot of random topics today.
Scatter.
What are you
shot.
talking about? We
Draw.
talked about video games.
I think I'm gonna just draw Ohio again.
I veto.
Make sure you put Ohio in the title.
No, I'm gonna draw the.
Draw World War Pokemon. I want that.
the logo for the
No, draw.
game I want to create.
Fucking draw World War Pokemon.
World War Pokemon.
WWP.
WWP Raw.
Bye, guys. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.